remember very well my days as an undergraduate, and people strongly believe that living on campus was highly secured because some of the menace, some of the criminal activities that will probably be experienced outside the school campus cannot be said to happen on campus because there's set to be a level of security on campus, and so all of these cannot happen. But to the extent where we seem to have repeated cases of robbery attacks, especially on the female hostels in the Rivers State University. I don't know what this says of the school security system, but I'm so concerned about these young girls on that campus. What is your take on that?
Well, first of all, I would like to start by saying the Rivers State University management has, over time, been proactive in ensuring our security. I'm a student of Rivers State University. I've stayed in a hostel myself, and I know quite well that there's been a whole lot of security measures. That's a very commendable part of what our management have done so far, because you see that at night there are security patrolling going from faculty to faculty. They have their patrol van going from one end to another to ensure that there's safety. I know for a fact because sometimes I go to 9th class, and while I'm walking through the faculty to get to through other faculties to get to the faculty of law, sometimes I'm being stopped and they'll be like, "Where are you going to? Where are your books?" And I'm going to the faculty of law. All right, be safe. So we see these things happen. Severally, I've met these guys, and I know for a fact that they have been proactive. As a matter of fact, as a result of that, last year September, my initiative, the Students Assisting Students Initiative, SASI, we actually even visited the security team to give them some security gadgets and accessories like reflectors, torchlights, and the rest of them to add to what they already have in ensuring that there's security on campus. Notwithstanding, this development is not recent. It didn't just start happening. As a matter of fact, we can't say those guys that came to school yesterday developed the momentum suddenly and decided to carry out such an attack on the female hostels. So I'm going to tell us a few before we get to yesterday.
Okay.
So we resumed 23rd of February this year, first semester, right? After resumption, basically the hostels are now opened immediately. So for a while, there were a series of holidays, and then coupled with the electioneering process, we're given about 3 weeks holidays, right? Now, when we formally resumed and were settled in by April, was when these things started happening. I remember very well that the first hostel that was attacked was Hostel C. Yeah.
Still a female hostel.
Still a female hostel. It's all been in female hostels. It was Hostel C. It was the early part of April, and it was room 16 that was attacked. But they didn't succeed initially. They broke the louvers, pushed them down, and then told the girl inside, one of the girls inside the room, that is room 16, to bring the phones of the other persons. And then she was brave enough to hide behind the bunk and screamed. So they ran. They came back again not quite long. They attacked room 15. There they were able to get some phones. And around 25th or 26th of April, they came again. And then they entered into the female hostels, and that was room 43. I'm saying this with these details because I did my findings. I asked questions. I have friends that are in the hostels who have made these informations available to me. I know some girls who are even traumatized as a result of these things, and it's very appalling. So that was room 43. And then they collected some of their phones, and in the process of escaping the boys and stuff, some of them were even injured. But within this time interspace, within the early part till that 25th or 26th, they had made an attempt in Hostel B. Hostel B is also a female hostel, right? But then it was just one boy who went through the fence and tried to get some stuff, and he couldn't. He left. Now, this semester, they've also attacked. This, we heard of yesterday's. We didn't hear of day before yesterday. Actually, there was an attack day before yesterday, just day before yesterday, in Hostel B, where they saw a guy in their bathroom. Yeah.
And now, when all of this has been happening, what has the school authority said? What has the CSO said?
Okay, so here's the thing. I know for a fact that, irrespective of what's been going on, it's a mandate on our school security to ensure that students are safe. So, the initial instances of these things, of these attacks, the female students made contact with the CSO and other members of the security, who as well came around, checked these things, and they stayed around for a while, even sometimes at night, to ensure that these guys don't come back. But personally, I think the reason why these things are consistent is not necessarily because we can't put it only on the failure of the security system, but I think they also have intels, because I don't know how they would be able to know the right time and the right days to show up. So there has to be a mole somewhere who's giving them this information. So I wouldn't want to say the school security has entirely failed.
No, I want to agree with you on the fact that they must have intels. I mean, why would they know when the school security is not on ground? But that, again, should let the school security know that we need to up our game.
Yes, that's the thing. Now, this calls for urgent attention, because if there are other modalities that are being put in place, whether or not they have a mole, they would have been apprehended. Take, for instance, if we have working CCTVs.
Right.
Take, for instance, if we have more equipped security personnel. Because yesterday, the guys who came, they came with guns, and our school security personnel do not have guns.
Of course not.
You don't expect someone to come with bare hands to fight someone, to fight a set of people who have guns. So that's like one thing we should put at the back of our minds when we want to blame these guys. The school security, so far as they can do, is to protect us against social vices and court clashes and some of these petty stealings. They are not armed enough to open fire with armed robbers and stuff like that. So that's like a thing that should be looked at.
But there's also meant to be a police presence on campus.
Yes. There actually is a police presence on campus. Yes, that's quite the fact. Notwithstanding, I don't think they are usually there at night.
Okay.
Yes, I don't think they are usually there at night. Because so far as I know, at night, the school securities that patrol, not even police officers. Yeah. So back to yesterday's. From the information I gathered, they got in around 2:48 a.m. Yeah. Now, this is a lot. From the beginning of what I just said, I've been able to highlight a lot. Okay, first of all, this means they were inside before our school gates were closed, because they usually close by 12.
Okay.
So if they close by 12, it either means they wouldn't be allowed inside, or they must have been allowed inside, or they were already inside to carry out this attack. Now, if they were already inside, it probably means they had hidden their accessories in a car or in a hostel or somewhere. Now, I don't want to point fingers to any hostel or anybody, but I know for a fact that there are some hostels that, okay, take for instance F&G hostel. It's usually not locked. at night, right? So it could possibly be that they may have access. Now, why I wouldn't even want to go down there is because that's where the man-o-war presence is.
Okay.
Yes, so the eyes of the man-o-war officials are always there. I stayed in F&G Hostel, and I know quite well that we hardly have security issues. Because it's a boys' hostel, and it's a hostel where we know that most of the porous boys are there. Most of the boys who would not take nonsense are there. So it's very unlikely that they must have come from there. But the big question is, when it happened around that time, calls were made to the security officials in school who would have been proactive, who would have promptly called external security, because we have the Man 3 police station just by the side, just in front of River State University. If prompt response or prompt measures were taken, it means police would have been in the university even before those guys had finished their operations. But no, it didn't happen like that. So they broke in through their laundry, they entered inside. Some of the pictures I sent reflected those things. They got into the first room and assaulted the girls, slapped some of them, beat some of them, collected their stuff, and moved into other rooms